The 1960s, a decade when America fell in love with horsepower, when factory engineers became outlaws, and when the quarter mile became the ultimate proving ground. These weren't just fast cars, they were weapons. Machines built to dominate drag strips, humiliate competitors, and prove that American iron could move faster than anything else on four wheels. Today, we're counting down the 12 fastest 1960s muscle cars over the quarter mile, from factory sleepers to homologation specials that never should have been street legal. Strap in. This is the story of the golden age, when speed was everything and nothing else mattered. Number 12, 1969, Mercury Cougar Eliminator, 428, Cobra Jet. Mercury never got the respect it deserved in the muscle car wars. Stuck between Ford's budget performance and Lincoln's luxury, Mercury built cars that were often overlooked despite being genuinely quick. The Cougar Eliminator, introduced in 1969, was Mercury's answer to the Boss Mustang and the Camaro Z28, a high-performance pony car designed to prove that luxury and speed could coexist. Under the hood sat the 428 cubic inch Cobra Jet V8, officially rated at 335 horsepower. Like most muscle car horsepower ratings of the era, that number was conservative, designed to keep insurance companies and lawmakers happy while hiding the engine's true potential. The Cobra Jet featured Ram Air induction that forced cool, dense air into the engine under acceleration, improving combustion and adding precious horsepower. The Cobra Jet was a torque monster, producing over 440 pound-feet of twist that launched the Cougar through the quarter mile in 13.9 seconds. The engine used a unique intake manifold design with larger ports and revised runner lengths that optimized power delivery across the RPM range. The Eliminator wore wild graphics, spoilers, and bright colors that made it impossible to miss. Mercury offered it in competition orange, competition blue, competition yellow, and white, each with bold stripes and Eliminator badging that announced this wasn't your father's luxury coupe. The front spoiler and rear wing weren't just for show, they provided genuine aerodynamic benefits at high speeds, reducing lift and improving stability. The interior blended performance with comfort, featuring high-back bucket seats, a wood-rimmed steering wheel, and full instrumentation that reminded drivers this was still a Mercury. The center console housed a competition-style shifter for the 4-speed manual transmission, with short throws and precise engagement. Only about 2,000 Eliminators were built with the Cobra Jet engine, making them relatively rare today. Mercury also offered the Eliminator with the Boss 302 engine for buyers who prioritized handling over straight-line speed. The Cougar Eliminator proved that Mercury could build a legitimate muscle car, even if it never quite escaped Ford's shadow. Number 11, 1966, Buick Skylark, GS401. Buick wasn't supposed to build muscle cars. Buick was for doctors and lawyers, for people who valued comfort over performance. But in 1966, Buick entered the muscle car wars with the Skylark Grand Sport, powered by the legendary 401 cubic inch Nailhead FIV8. The Nailhead got its nickname from its unique valve configuration, with tiny valves positioned nearly vertically in the combustion chamber. The design limited high RPM breathing but produced massive low-end torque that made the GS a stoplight warrior. The vertical valve arrangement also created a distinctive valve cover profile that made Nailhead engines instantly recognizable to enthusiasts. Rated at 325 horsepower, the Nailhead GS could run the quarter mile in 14.5 seconds. The torquey output of 445 pound-feet at just 2,800 RPM meant the GS pulled hard from idle, making it devastatingly effective in street racing situations. The GS wore understated styling compared to the wild graphics and scoops of other muscle cars. Buick kept it classy, with subtle badges, clean lines, and an interior that prioritized comfort. Chrome accents and tasteful trim gave the GS an upscale appearance that appealed to buyers who wanted performance without the boy racer aesthetic. But underneath that, gentleman's exterior beat the heart of a street fighter. The Nailhead's torque curve was nearly flat, delivering strong acceleration from idle to redline without the peaky power delivery of other engines. Buick engineers had designed the Nailhead for smoothness and refinement, but in GS form it proved that sophistication and performance weren't mutually exclusive. Buick built thousands of GS models in 1966, establishing the brand's credibility in the performance market. The GS package included heavy-duty suspension, upgraded brakes, and a reinforced drivetrain capable of handling the nailhead's prodigious torque. The GS 401 proved that muscle cars didn't have to be loud and crude to be fast. Sometimes the most dangerous cars were the ones that looked civilized. Number 10. 1969 AMC AMX 390. American Motors Corporation was the little company that refused to die. Competing against the Big Three with a fraction of their resources, AMC built practical economy cars and quirky designs that appealed to budget-conscious buyers. But in 1969, AMC proved they could build a genuine performance car with the AMX, a compact two-seater powered by the 390 cubic inch V8. The AMX was short, just 97 inches between the wheels, making it one of the most compact muscle cars ever built. That short wheelbase helped weight distribution and made the AMX feel nimble compared to the larger pony cars from Ford, Chevrolet, and Plymouth. The compact dimensions also reduced weight, with the AMX tipping the scales at just over 3,200 pounds. The 390 V8 produced 315 horsepower, pushing the lightweight AMX through the quarter mile in 14.1 seconds. AMC offered the 390 with a 4-barrel carburetor and dual exhaust system that gave the engine a distinctive sound. AMC positioned the AMX as a working man's Corvette, a genuine two-seat sports car that cost thousands less than Chevrolet's flagship. The pricing strategy was aggressive, with the AMX undercutting competitors while offering comparable performance. The styling was aggressive, with a long hood, short deck, and distinctive side scoops that fed cool air to the rear brakes. The front end featured a bold grille and quad headlights that gave the AMX an intimidating face. Red, white, and blue striping options gave the AMX a patriotic flair that appealed to buyers looking for something different. The interior featured bucket seats, full instrumentation, and a rally-style dashboard that emphasized the car's sporting intentions. AMC built fewer than 9,000 AMX models in 1969, making them rare finds today. The AMX also competed in SCCA road racing, proving its capabilities beyond the drag strip. The AMX proved that you didn't need to be one of the Big Three to build a legitimate muscle car. Sometimes the underdog could punch above its weight. Number 9. 1968 Pontiac GTO Ram Air 2. The GTO invented the muscle car formula: take a mid-size body, stuff in the biggest engine available, and price it for young buyers hungry for performance. By 1968, the GTO had evolved from its 1964 origins into a refined muscle machine that balanced street manners with drag strip capability. The Ram Air 2 package, optional on the GTO, took the 400 cubic inch V8 and added functional hood scoops, revised camshaft profiles, and improved breathing that boosted output to 366 horsepower. The Ram Air system fed cool, dense air directly into the engine, improving combustion efficiency and power output. The functional scoops opened under full throttle, creating a direct path for cold air to rush into the engine's intake manifold. Quarter-mile times dropped to 13.6 seconds, making the Ram Air 2 GTO one of the quickest GTOs available. The Ram Air package also included stronger valve springs, improved cylinder heads, and a more aggressive ignition curve. The 1968 GTO featured updated styling with hidden headlights, Endura rubber-coated front bumper, and aggressive lines that made it look ready to pounce. The Endura bumper was revolutionary, a flexible urethane-covered design that could absorb minor impacts and return to its original shape. The interior offered comfort and style, with bucket seats, console-mounted shifter, and full instrumentation. Pontiac's attention to detail extended to the GTO's dashboard, which featured simulated wood grain and toggle switches that gave it a sporty, aircraft-inspired appearance. Pontiac sold tens of thousands of GTOs in 1968, with a small percentage receiving the Ram Air 2 package. The Judge variant, introduced later, would become more famous with its wild graphics and outrageous styling. But purists knew the Ram Air 2 was the real performance package, the option that serious racers checked when ordering their GTO. The Ram Air 2 package cost just over $600, making it an affordable way to extract maximum performance from the GTO platform. The Ram Air 2 proved that the original muscle car could still compete with newer, more powerful rivals. Number 8. 1969. Ford Mustang Boss. 429. Ford needed to go NASCAR racing with the new 429 cubic inch semi-Hemi V8. NASCAR's rules required Ford to build at least 500 street versions to qualify for competition. The result was the Boss 429, one of the wildest factory Mustangs ever built. The 429 featured a massive crescent-shaped combustion chamber and canted valves that gave it genuine race-bred architecture. The semi-hemispherical design allowed larger valves and better breathing than traditional wedgehead designs. Ford conservatively rated it at 375 horsepower, but actual output was significantly higher, likely over 500 horses with proper tuning. The conservative rating was partly to satisfy NASCAR's displacement-to-weight formulas and partly to keep insurance costs reasonable. The engine was so large that Ford had to modify the Mustang's shock towers to fit it, creating distinctive bulges in the hood. The modifications required cutting and welding the shock towers, then reinforcing the surrounding structure to maintain chassis rigidity. Quarter-mile times came in around 13.6 seconds, with stock tires and exhaust, but the Boss 429 was clearly built for high-speed oval racing rather than drag strip performance. The Boss 429 was built for racing, not comfort. It came with heavy-duty suspension, close-ratio 4-speed transmission, and minimal sound deadening. The suspension used stiffer springs and shocks, calibrated for NASCAR's high-speed banking rather than street driving. The interior was basic, with high-back bucket seats and full instrumentation. Ford deleted options like air conditioning and power steering to save weight and simplify the package. Ford offered the Boss 429 in limited colors, with most wearing Wimbledon white, black jade, or other subdued hues. Wild graphics and spoilers were minimal, letting the car's performance speak for itself. The understated appearance made the Boss 429 a true sleeper, capable of destroying anything on the street while looking almost stock. Ford built fewer than 1,400 Boss 429s, split between 1969 and 1970 production. Today, they're among the most valuable Mustangs ever built, with pristine examples commanding six-figure prices. The Boss 429 proved Ford was serious about NASCAR and serious about building the ultimate street-legal race car. Number 7. 1966. Shelby Cobra. 427. The Shelby Cobra wasn't technically a muscle car. It was a sports car, a lightweight roadster designed for road racing rather than drag strips. But when Carroll Shelby stuffed Ford's massive 427 cubic inch side-oiler V8 into the tiny AC Cobra chassis, he created something that terrified everything on the road. The Cobra 427 was brutally simple. Take a British roadster that weighed less than 2,500 pounds, add an American V8 producing 425 horsepower, and connect them with a 4-speed manual transmission. The power-to-weight ratio was staggering, with 1 horsepower for every 6 pounds of weight. No power steering, no power brakes, no driver aids of any kind. Just raw, unfiltered acceleration that could kill you if you weren't careful. The lack of assists meant drivers needed physical strength and constant attention to control the Cobra at speed. Quarter-mile times came in around 12.2 seconds, making the Cobra 427 one of the quickest production cars in America. The side-oiler 427 featured a unique oiling system that kept oil pressure stable during hard cornering, making it ideal for racing applications. The side-oiler design routed oil through passages on the sides of the engine block, rather than through the crankshaft, preventing oil starvation during sustained lateral G-forces. The Cobra's chassis struggled to handle the massive torque, with the rear end wanting to step out under hard acceleration. Drivers had to be smooth, progressive, and respectful of the power. The original AC chassis, designed for engines producing less than 200 horsepower, received reinforcements and wider track to handle the big block Ford's output. Shelby built fewer than 400 Cobra 427s, with production split between street and competition models. The street versions, known as SC for street competition, featured side exhausts, roll bars, and wider fenders to accommodate racing tires. Today, they're worth millions, with authentic examples commanding prices that rival vintage Ferraris. The Cobra 427 wasn't just fast in a straight line, it could carve corners, dominate road courses, and humiliate European sports cars that cost twice as much. It proved that American V8 power could compete with anything in the world. Number 6. 1967 Chevrolet Corvette L88. The L88. Corvette was never meant for the street. It was a race car that happened to have a VIN and could technically be registered for road use. Chevrolet built the L88 package for serious racers who wanted the ultimate Corvette without the expense of building a custom race car from scratch. The L88 option, RPOL 88, cost over $1,000 and included a race-prepared 427 cubic inch V8, officially rated at 430 horsepower. That rating was laughably conservative. Actual output was closer to 560 horsepower, with some estimates even higher. Chevrolet underrated the engine to discourage street buyers and keep the L88 in the hands of racers who understood its requirements and capabilities. The L88 package deleted the radio, heater, and power steering to save weight and discourage casual buyers. The deletion served a dual purpose, reducing weight and making the car uncomfortable enough that only serious racers would tolerate it. It included an aluminum intake manifold, solid lifter camshaft, 12.5:1 compression ratio, and enormous Holley 4-barrel carburetor. The solid lifters required frequent valve adjustments, adding to the maintenance demands. The fuel requirements specified 103-octane racing gasoline, making the L88 nearly impossible to drive on pump gas without severe detonation. Running pump gas would destroy the engine in short order, grenading pistons and damaging valves. Quarter-mile times came in around 12.1 seconds. With proper tires and tuning, the 1967 L88 was the first year for the package, making it historically significant as the beginning of Chevrolet's most legendary performance option. The development work for the L88 came from Chevrolet's experience with the big block V8 in Can-Am racing and SCCA competition. Chevrolet built only 20 L88 Corvettes in 1967, with buyers understanding they were purchasing a race car that happened to be street legal. Today, they're among the most valuable Corvettes ever built, with pristine examples selling for over $1 million. Number 5. 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner 426 Hemi. Plymouth created the Roadrunner in 1968 as the budget muscle car, a stripped-down performance machine that deleted luxury options to keep the price low. The base Roadrunner came with the 383 cubic inch V8, producing adequate power at an attractive price point. But buyers who wanted serious performance could order the legendary 426 HEMI for an additional $700, transforming the affordable Roadrunner into a genuine supercar killer. The HEMI was Chrysler's ultimate weapon, a race-bred engine with hemispherical combustion chambers that allowed massive valves and exceptional breathing. The hemispherical design positioned valves opposite each other in the combustion chamber, allowing larger valves than conventional wedge designs. Rated at 425 horsepower, the Hemi's actual output was significantly higher, likely over 500 horses when properly tuned. Chrysler underrated the Hemi to satisfy insurance companies and NASCAR's classification system. Quarter-mile times dropped to 13.5 seconds, making the Hemi Roadrunner one of the quickest production cars available. The Hemi's brutal power delivery required careful throttle modulation to avoid breaking the tires loose at any speed. The Roadrunner kept costs down with minimal chrome, basic interior, and cartoon graphics featuring the Warner Brothers Roadrunner character. The licensing deal with Warner Brothers added authenticity and humor to the muscle car formula. The horn played the Roadrunner's signature beep-beep sound, a playful touch that reminded everyone this was a car that didn't take itself too seriously. The cartoon graphics were controversial among some enthusiasts who preferred serious performance imagery. Plymouth built thousands of Roadrunners in 1969, but only a small percentage received the HEMI engine due to its high cost and demanding nature. The Hemi required constant maintenance, frequent tuning, and high-octane fuel to perform properly. The combination of low price and high performance made the Hemi Roadrunner the ultimate working man's muscle car. You didn't need to be rich to own a Hemi. You just needed priorities and the willingness to sacrifice comfort for speed. The Roadrunner proved that muscle cars could be affordable, and that performance didn't require leather seats and fancy options. The Hemi Roadrunner was pure, unfiltered American muscle, a car that prioritized speed over everything else. Number 4. 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona 426 HEMI. The Charger Daytona was built for one reason: to win at NASCAR's fastest tracks. Dodge needed to improve the Charger's aerodynamics to compete with Ford's slippery Talladega, so they added a massive nose cone and towering rear wing that transformed the Charger into something from science fiction. The nose extended nearly 2 feet beyond the standard Charger, creating a smooth, aerodynamic profile that reduced drag and increased top speed. Wind tunnel testing showed the nose cone reduced drag coefficient significantly, allowing higher speeds on NASCAR's superspeedways. The rear wing stood 23 inches above the trunk, positioned to create downforce and clean air, away from the turbulence behind the car. The wing's height was calculated to place it above the turbulent air flowing over the roof and trunk. NASCAR required Dodge to build 500 street versions to qualify for racing, creating some of the wildest production vehicles ever built. The result was one of the wildest production cars ever sold in America, a vehicle that looked more at home on a NASCAR superspeedway than a suburban driveway. Under the hood, buyers could order the 426 Hemi, producing 425 horsepower. The Hemi transformed the Daytona from aerodynamic curiosity into genuine performance machine. The Daytona with Hemi power ran the quarter mile in 13.5 seconds, identical to the Roadrunner, but with dramatically different character. The Daytona's additional weight and aerodynamic modifications changed its power delivery and handling characteristics. The Daytona's aerodynamic modifications made it unstable at low speeds, but devastatingly effective at high velocity. The long nose and tall wing created handling quirks that took time to master. On NASCAR superspeedways, the Daytona could exceed 200 miles per hour, a speed unthinkable for production cars at the time. Buddy Baker became the first driver to officially break 200 miles per hour in a NASCAR race driving a Daytona. Dodge built exactly 503 Daytonas, with about 70 receiving the Hemi engine, while most came with the more affordable 440 cubic inch V8. Today, they're among the most valuable muscle cars ever produced, with Hemi Daytonas commanding prices approaching $500,000. The Charger Daytona proved that aerodynamics mattered, that science could make cars faster, and that sometimes the wildest ideas produce the best results. Number 3. 1969 Chevrolet Corvette L88. The L88. Corvette returned for 1969 with refinements that made it even more formidable. Building on the lessons learned from the 1967 and 68 models, Chevrolet fine-tuned the L88 package to extract maximum performance from the 427 cubic inch V8. The 1969 L88 featured the same race-bred engine as earlier years, officially rated at 430 horsepower, but actually producing closer to 560. The aluminum intake manifold, solid lifters, and high-compression pistons required racing fuel and expert tuning to achieve maximum performance. Chevrolet continued the practice of severely underrating the L88's power output to keep it out of the hands of inexperienced drivers. Quarter-mile times came in around 12 seconds flat with proper preparation, making the L88 one of the quickest production cars in America. The 1969 Corvette featured updated styling with recessed taillights and revised interior, but L88 models remained stripped-down race cars. The styling changes were subtle, maintaining the C3 Corvette's distinctive shape while refining details. No radio, no heater, no power steering, just the essentials needed to go racing and nothing more. Chevrolet built 116 L88 Corvettes in 1969, a significant increase from earlier years, as word spread about the package's performance. The increased production reflected growing demand from racing teams who recognized the L88's dominance in competition. The 1969 L88 dominated road racing series and drag strips, proving that Corvette could compete with purpose-built race cars at a fraction of the cost. L88. Corvettes won SCCA championships and set lap records at road courses across America. Today, 69 L88 Corvettes are slightly more common than earlier years, but still command enormous prices at auction, with pristine examples exceeding $1 million. The L88 proved that Chevrolet's commitment to racing continued, even as corporate policies officially discouraged factory participation in motorsports. Number 2. 1968 Dodge Dart HEMI. The Dart Hemi was never meant to be a street car. Dodge built it specifically for NHRA Superstock drag racing, creating a lightweight missile designed to dominate the quarter mile and nothing else. The program started when Dodge needed a competitive car for the newly created Superstock classes that required production-based vehicles. The standard Dart was compact, lightweight, and cheap, perfect attributes for a purpose-built drag racer. Add the race-prepared 426 Hemi, and you had a factory drag car that could destroy anything in its class. Dodge built only 80 Dart Hemis in 1968, shipping them directly to racers who understood these weren't daily drivers. The limited production run ensured exclusivity and maintained the car's special status in racing. The cars came with lightweight fiberglass fenders and hood, deleted sound deadening, lightweight seats, and minimal options. Every component was evaluated for weight savings, with engineers removing anything that didn't contribute to straight-line acceleration. Everything that didn't contribute to speed was removed, including passenger seats in some examples. Some racers immediately removed windshields and added roll cages before the car ever touched the street. The Hemi in the Dart was race-prepped, with stronger internals, revised camshafts, and tuning optimized for maximum acceleration. The race preparation included shot-peened connecting rods, forged pistons, and valve springs capable of handling extreme RPM. With proper preparation, slicks, and drag racing modifications, the Dart Hemi could run the quarter mile in 10.8 seconds, a time that seems impossible for a 1968 production car. The 10-second barrier was considered the holy grail of drag racing, and the Dart Hemi shattered it. Factory-prepped Dart Hemis driven by professional racers achieved times in the high 10s consistently, dominating their classes and proving Dodge's engineering excellence. The Dart Hemi established Dodge's reputation as the manufacturer that would do whatever it took to win. The Dart Hemi was uncomfortable, loud, temperamental, and completely impractical for street use. The race-tuned Hemi required constant maintenance and premium racing fuel, but on the drag strip, nothing could touch it, and that was all that mattered to the racers who bought them. Dodge proved that with enough engineering and the willingness to ignore comfort, they could build the ultimate drag racing weapon. Number 1. 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. At the top of our list sits the ZL1, Camaro, the ultimate expression of Chevrolet's commitment to drag racing dominance. Built through the Central Office Production Order System, COPO 9560, the ZL1 was a factory drag car that could be ordered from any Chevrolet dealer willing to navigate the paperwork and pay the premium price. The ZL1 started with Fred Gibb Chevrolet in La Harpin, Illinois. Fred Gibb wanted a Camaro that could dominate NHRA Superstock racing, and he worked with Chevrolet's Vince Piggins to create the ultimate package. Vince Piggins, Chevrolet's performance guru, had created the COPO system to circumvent GM's ban on engines larger than 400 cubic inches in mid-size cars. The result was a Camaro equipped with the all-aluminum 427 cubic inch V8, originally developed for Can-Am racing, where it powered the dominant Chaparral race cars. The ZL1 engine was a work of art: aluminum block with steel cylinder liners, aluminum heads with massive ports, forged internals, and a Holley 850 CFM carburetor on an open plenum intake manifold. Each engine was hand-assembled at Chevrolet's Tonawanda plant, taking 16 hours to complete. The entire engine weighed just 500 pounds, about the same as Chevrolet's small block 327, yet produced nearly twice the power. The weight savings transformed the Camaro's handling and acceleration characteristics. Chevrolet officially rated the ZL1 at 430 horsepower, a number so conservative it bordered on fiction. The underrating was extreme even by muscle car standards, with the actual output exceeding the rating by over 100 horsepower. Dyno testing revealed actual output closer to 550 horsepower, with some engines producing even more depending on tuning and atmospheric conditions. The underrating kept insurance costs manageable, and avoided internal GM politics that prohibited any car from being more powerful than the Corvette, which used the L88 engine rated at the same 430 horsepower. With stock tires and exhaust, the ZL1 Camaro ran the quarter mile in 13.1 seconds at 110 miles per hour, making it the quickest production Camaro ever built. The stock performance was impressive, but the ZL1 was designed to be modified for serious racing. With headers, slicks, and proper tuning, times dropped into the 11-second range at over 120 miles per hour, putting the ZL1 in exotic supercar territory. Professional racers with fully prepped ZL1s could crack the 10-second barrier, a feat that seemed impossible for a production car. The ZL1 package cost $4,160, more than the price of a base Camaro and nearly double the cost of the already expensive L72 big block option. That pushed the total cost to over $7,200, making the ZL one of the most expensive muscle cars available and pricing it out of reach for most buyers. Fred Gibb ordered 50 units, the minimum required for NHRA homologation, believing he could sell them to local racers and enthusiasts. He managed to sell only 13 before sending the rest back to Chevrolet for redistribution to other dealers across the country. In total, Chevrolet built exactly 69 ZL1 Camaros in 1969, a production number that has become legendary among collectors. The low production was due to the astronomical price and the car's single-minded focus on racing performance rather than street comfort. The ZL1 came with heavy-duty suspension, 4-speed manual transmission options, including the rock-crushing M22 close-ratio gearbox, known for its distinctive whine, power disc brakes, and 4.10 positraction differential with heat-treated gears. The drivetrain components were the strongest pieces Chevrolet could source, designed to handle the ZL1's brutal torque. The cowl induction hood fed cool air to the engine through functional scoops that opened under acceleration, and the F41 suspension package kept the car planted during hard launches. The suspension calibration balanced street manners with drag strip capability. Inside, the ZL1 was basic, with minimal options and instrumentation focused on performance rather than luxury. Bench seat or buckets, minimal options, and instrumentation focused on performance. Chevrolet didn't offer radios or luxury amenities because ZL1 buyers didn't care about comfort. They cared about winning races. Many ZL1 Camaros were purchased by serious racers who immediately stripped them for competition, removing anything that added weight or didn't contribute to performance. Some were rebodied multiple times as racing accidents required repairs, erasing their original identity. Others received extensive modifications that erased their original configuration, making authentic survivors extremely rare. About 20 ZL1s went into organized drag racing, where they set multiple superstock records and dominated their classes. Today, authentic ZL1 Camaros are among the most valuable muscle cars ever built, with pristine examples selling for over $1 million at auction. The ZL1 proved that Chevrolet could build the ultimate muscle car when regulations, corporate politics, and cost were secondary to pure performance. These 12 machines represent the pinnacle of American muscle. They were built in an era when speed was everything, when manufacturers competed openly for drag strip supremacy, and when engineers found creative ways to circumvent corporate restrictions. From the affordable Hemi Roadrunner to the exotic ZL1 Camaro, each car told a story of ambition, engineering excellence, and the relentless pursuit of speed. The 1960s muscle car era ended abruptly in the early 70s, when insurance costs, emissions regulations, and fuel crises killed horsepower. But for a brief, glorious decade, American manufacturers built the fastest production cars the world had ever seen. These 12 represent the fastest of the fast, the cars that defined the golden age and set standards that wouldn't be matched for decades. Which of these legends would you take for one last quarter-mile run? Drop your answer in the comments, and if you love the stories from the golden age of American horsepower, hit subscribe for more.